Hello, my friends, and welcome back. In today's video, I am inviting you into the real version of my kitchen during a busy weekday. As a content creator, or may I say as content creators, we love to show the clean counters, the perfect lighting, the aesthetic moments, but that's not always reality, at least in my case. So today I'm showing you what my kitchen actually looks like in the middle of real life. The cooking, the mess, the moving, all of it. And honestly, I think I did pretty good this time compared to other days. I usually like to cook within an hour, which is why pre-planning makes such a difference for me. When I have a plan, everything flows better, even if the kitchen doesn't look picture perfect. So my friend, let's get into some real weekday cooking. I'm actually here in Target with my girls, so I decided to pick a few stuff I actually needed. I, to be honest, like Target, but not taking my girls with me because I always end up spending more money than expected. So here they are, my friends. I had to get them out. So, little story, my friends. I do have a refrigerator in my garage. So what I generally do is whatever I am going to cook on any particular day, I will just leave it out in the outdoor refrigerator. Okay, I love pre-planning. Again, it works for me perfectly. I cook from Monday through probably Thursdays, and generally on those other days we would probably eat out or just order something for dinner. Now there are 2 days in the week that I have to prepare something simple because the girls are in dance school. So one in particular goes in at 7. That means that I will have to prepare probably some cold cuts, a salad, or even just buy a chicken, something simple. And then Thursdays, we do have one that goes in at 8:15, which is later. And as you know, my videos are pre-recorded, and that is exactly what's happening today. Okay, so I need to have dinner ready before 8 o'clock. That way Francesca can actually have a nice little dinner before going to dance. Now, keeping my kitchen clean is, to me, the key. And when I say the key, my friends, I don't like clutter. I like things clean. Maybe I have some sort of, I don't know, ADH, whatever they call that, my friends, but things have to be in order. And by the way, am I the only one who keeps pots and pans inside my oven for space? Well, I do. And if you take a look around in my kitchen, you see that I don't have really much upper cabinets. You only see the ones to the wall, okay? And I generally have there some coffee cups and some dishes, but the majority of my cabinets are actually in the bottom. Okay, so every little space for me work. I'm always trying to figure something out to make space for a lot of the cooking pots and pans that I actually have. So sticking them inside the oven works for me. Sometimes I have to remember that I actually have them there before I even preheat the oven. That can be a little dangerous. If you notice at the beginning, I actually lighted some candles. So I like to set the mood. I work an 8-hour job, and I'm gonna be quite honest, sometimes I am mentally exhausted because my job can be mentally exhausting, but I have to definitely set my space for some sort of calmness. So the candles, you see my videos, I always light my candles when I get to the house. And it's interesting because whoever comes first light the candles. Generally, if it's my husband Hector, he'd start the candles. Sometimes the girls might come in before we do as well, and they get the candles. So they know mom is coming to prepare dinner, and they want to make sure I'm a happy camper. What they say, if I am happy, I guess everyone is happy. Well, so my friends, another thing that I like to do is I play a little jazz. I love jazz music. I like a lot of bossa nova as well, but I like that cafe jazz music. And my family makes fun of me because anytime they come home, that's pretty much, if I'm in the kitchen, that's what I'm playing. I'm playing some jazz. So anytime they hear jazz, everybody thinks of me. Oh, that's Los Angeles type of vibe. I love it. I think it's great. So my friends, if you guys are wondering, I am preparing some roasted potatoes in the oven. I'm going to do a picadillo de carne molida, which is like ground beef. It's a ground beef stew, delicious, and our favorite rice. If you see my videos, we love a jasmine rice. And I actually buy I don't know how many pounds. It's humongous. It's a humongous bag. If I tell you 10 pounds, I'll probably be lying or exaggerating. I don't know. But yes, I do buy the jasmine rice at Sam's. And this lasts me for a good 6 months. And we generally eat rice probably every other day. And if that's the case, it's usually half a cup for me and Hector, and the girls will probably do a cup. So I don't cook a lot of rice. We don't eat a large amount of rice is what I'm trying to get across. Another thing, when I start cooking or I know what I'm going to be fixing for dinner, I start with what's going to take longer. So if you notice, I prepped my roasted potatoes. And now I am pretty much working on my ground beef. And then I'm going to work on the rice. So everything works and flows nicely. Okay, I have an hour to cook. And generally 99% of the time, I am done by 7. We're sitting down to eat dinner at 7. And that's the rule here in the house as well. Another thing you've noticed, my husband is not around. The girls are doing their homework, which I love. I have young ladies, super smart. I'm very blessed. And my husband sometimes does some work after hours, and he won't be home till probably 7. But it's nice. So I got the kitchen for myself, and I can move around and I can do everything, and I am not being interrupted. Okay, but everybody knows that they better be in the dining table by 7 o'clock. Okay, sometimes I run a little longer than 7, and I can hear the doors opening and kind of wondering, what's up, mom? Where's dinner? But yes, we generally have dinner at 7. And that is another thing that we have, especially with our girls. They're growing, and pretty soon they're gonna be out going to college and just moving on with life like we all have done. I always say that. So it is nice to take this time to sit down and have dinner with the girls. And sometimes we do talk about the day, and a lot of the times we watch some shows. Right now we are watching Martin, which is Martin Lawrence, the original sitcom. And the girls, they're not too fond of it because I guess they don't understand or see the humor we saw. This is a very old show. I'm quite sure it's more than 20 years old. But we've seen a few shows together during dinner. So dinner is very important to us. It's that little time we have to bond as a family. And again, we both work. The girls are in school. And, we just try to break that routine. Leave school out the door and just leave work out the door as well. Now, my friends, I always get asked, do you really love to cook? And yes, my friends, I love to cook, especially for my family and, of course, friends. I always say this thing about food. Food brings people together. Okay, so my home is very popular for that, especially in my kitchen. And like I said earlier, I generally cook from Monday through Thursdays and in between some light dinners. Although I am exhausted a lot of the times, this is my therapy. And I know it's not for everyone. Not only that, my friends, but it's budget friendly. A lot of the times we take some of this lunch to work. Now, if you guys notice, I grab two tomatoes from my refrigerator. What I do is when they start going bad, I put them in the ice box. And then I can actually put them in like any stew. If you do a chicken stew or whatever stew, you can definitely reuse them because they're gonna cook so nicely as well. Now, although I am doing all this cooking and getting everything ready for dinner, you're probably wondering, wow, no one helps. But yes, they do. And this is the rule. I cook. And one thing I always try to do is, of course, I clean as I go. So it's going to make the girls and Hector's job easier because they do the cleaning up after dinner. So someone has the dishes, someone has to refill the refrigerator with water or sodas, whatever is needed. Somebody has to wipe down counters and sweep. So yes, everybody helps out. And I think that's the way it should be. Now, if you notice, I don't have a range hood. And that is something we are working on. Okay. So we recently had to change our stove. And if you notice, it has the actual vents. If we actually bake or roast anything in the oven, then you will really see all that smoke coming up. Versus the older model we had, it was in the inside. So this one is actually in the outside. Not just that, but as you can see the smoke from the cooking, and it goes to the walls. Sometimes I have to open the doors, and I am constantly wiping down, and it can get very messy and greasy. So we are working on getting a hood, and of course that's gonna have to be a hanging hood from the ceiling. So we're getting some quotes and looking into getting that really soon. My roasted potatoes are ready to go in the oven, and this is gonna go in for a good 25-30 minutes. And we are done with dinner. I'm gonna start cleaning and organizing a little as I go. My friends, I sure hope my videos inspire you to cook, to entertain. And when I say cook, you can cook for yourself. You don't have to cook for a crowd. Fix yourself some dinners. Come from work, you had a hectic day, come home, chill out, and prepare something warm. I think it's entertaining for me. And yes, guys, don't judge. I am having me my glass of wine. Everything is clean and in its place, and I'm about to start serving dinner. Here's another thing I always say when I cook, and a lot of my videos I say this, okay? The food has to rest. I usually like to open the pots, the rice, my stews, and let it sit for a few minutes. That way it's not so hot and you can actually enjoy the taste of the food. Well, my friends, I sure hope you have enjoyed this little video. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell so you won't miss out on any future videos, my friends. And by the way, welcome. I hope this inspire you, my friends, to live simple and cook more. Sending love, good vibes your way. Until next time, bye-bye. Cheers.